In May 1996, a Texas pathologist named Beck Weathers joined an expedition to climb Mount Everest. He wasn't chasing fame or records, he was chasing an escape from a depression that had quietly controlled his life for years, one that climbing was the only thing that seemed to hold at bay. Weathers had already completed 6 of the 7 summits. Everest was meant to be his final peak. What he didn't know was that May 10, 1996 would become one of the deadliest days in the mountain's history. A sudden, violent storm that would kill 8 climbers before nightfall. Hours before the storm hit, Weathers began suffering severe altitude sickness that temporarily blinded him, a known but rare side effect at extreme elevation. Unable to see, he was told to wait at a fixed point on the mountain for his guide to return and help him down. The guide never came back. The storm arrived instead. Hurricane-force winds, blinding snow, temperatures plunging past -40 degrees. Weathers, blind and alone, had no way to navigate his way down the mountain by himself. He was found by other climbers during a break in the storm, barely conscious, and brought to a camp with the other survivors. But his condition continued to deteriorate. By the following morning, a doctor examined him and made the call that no one wants to make. Beck Weathers was declared beyond help. His body temperature had dropped catastrophically. His face and hands were frozen solid. The expedition made the agonizing decision to leave him where he lay and focus their remaining strength on climbers who still had a chance. He was left on the ice, alone, presumed dying. Word was radioed down the mountain that Beck Weathers had died. His wife, back home in Texas, was informed that her husband was gone. Then something happened that still puzzles doctors who study extreme hypothermia and consciousness. Hours later, lying in the snow with frostbitten skin and a body that should have shut down completely, Beck Weathers opened his eyes. He later described the moment with startling clarity. An image of his wife's face appeared in his mind, vivid and insistent, and something in him simply refused to accept that this was where his life would end. He said the vision physically willed him to move. Neuroscientists studying near-death survival cases describe this as a powerful example of motivational salience overriding physical collapse, when a single emotionally significant image becomes strong enough to force the body into action, even after the mind has begun shutting down non-essential function. Somehow, with frozen hands he could no longer feel and eyes damaged by the cold, Weathers stood up. He could not see clearly. He did not know exactly where camp was. He simply started walking, one unsteady step at a time, guided by nothing but instinct and the image in his mind. By extraordinary chance, he walked directly into camp, stumbling out of the storm in front of stunned climbers who believed they were looking at a dead man. His face was blackened by frostbite. His right arm was frozen rigid, extended in front of him like a piece of wood. Getting him off the mountain took days. Weathers endured a helicopter rescue at an altitude considered too dangerous for the aircraft to safely reach, a rescue attempted only because pilots understood this might be the only chance he had left. Weathers survived, but at enormous cost. Frostbite claimed his right hand, several fingers on his left, and his nose, which was later reconstructed through multiple surgeries. He said afterward that Everest hadn't just taken his hand, it had given him something in return. The depression that once controlled his life quietly lost its grip after Everest. Weathers said the mountain forced him to see with total clarity what actually mattered, not the summit, but the people waiting for him at home. Left for dead twice, and twice he chose to come back. That's last chance survival. Every story on this channel asks the same question. Not just how did they survive, but what was happening inside their mind in the moment it mattered most. Because the truth is, most of us will never be trapped under ice, or left for dead on a mountain, or stranded with nothing but our own will to survive. But every single one of us will face our own breaking point. And when that moment comes, the difference between giving up and finding a way through often comes down to understanding the mind, what it's capable of, and what it will do when everything else has failed. That's what this channel is built on. If this story stayed with you, there are more like it waiting. Real people, real psychology, real survival. Subscribe, and you won't miss the next one, because the next story might be the one that changes how you see your own limits.